confusion and frustration going on with this stimulus check and everything within this stimulus package. The unemployment is through the roof. People are still waiting on their checks. Money for the small business loan is running out. So here on my channel, I will be providing you with information and regular updates on this stimulus package from everything what is going on, the latest news, and answering all of your questions. So be sure to hit that subscribe button below so that you can be notified when I post a new video. So let me give you an update with this stimulus check. Now, one thing I want you to know, the IRS has already started sending out money, but they are first sending out money only to those people that they can reach the fastest. And that's those of you who have received a refund when you filed either your 2018 taxes or your 2019 taxes, and you elected to get direct deposit to get that tax refund. Now, you would be the first in line to get your stimulus payment. Then the IRS will be sending out money to those of you who are on Social Security and disability. Remember, the way that you receive your Social Security or disability payments is the way that the IRS will be sending you your stimulus payment. So, if you receive your Social Security or disability by direct deposit, the IRS will send your stimulus payment by direct deposit. If you receive your Social Security or disability through the mail, the IRS will send your stimulus payment by mail. So you will receive a paper check. So please keep this in mind. So those of you who are not seeing your money as yet and you are on Social Security, again, the way that you receive your Social Security or disability is the way that you receive your stimulus payment. Then the IRS will begin sending out paper checks. Now, according to the IRS, they can only process and print out 5 million checks per week. So this may delay when you will receive your check. In all actuality, it may take months before you even receive the check. Think about it, 5 million checks per week. So in the US, we have millions and millions of people, and those of you who have elected to receive your payment or your tax refund by mail, you will receive a paper check, and this could potentially take months for you to receive. So if you haven't received your stimulus payment, there could be a number of reasons why you have not yet received that payment, and that's what I'm going to go over right now with you. So one of the reasons that you may not have received your stimulus payment yet is because when you filed your 2018 or 2019 tax returns, you elected to receive your refund, if you were owed a refund, by mail and not by direct deposit. So the IRS wouldn't have your direct deposit information on hand if you had elected to receive your fund from your 2018 or 2019 tax returns by the mail. Another thing that I want you to keep in mind is that if you owed taxes for any reason, just remember the IRS is not using the account that you use to pay those taxes. They are actually using the account for those of you who received a refund and you supplied a direct deposit. So if you owe taxes, they're not using the account that you use to pay those taxes, if that makes any sense, right? They're not using the account that you use to pay the taxes, but they are using the account that they sent any tax refunds to you, any direct deposit information you supplied them with to receive those refunds. Okay, so one thing that I want you to keep in mind, for those of you who knew that you provided, direct deposit information on your 2018 and 2019 taxes, and you still haven't received your refund, I want you to really look at which account you used. It might have been an account that you had already closed, or the bank has closed for some reason. So really look back at, either your 2019 or 2018 tax returns and make sure that the direct deposit information is from an account that is still open. The IRS wouldn't know that this account is closed. So, you really have to update that information. They would not know that. So that may be one of the reasons why you haven't received your refund. And that's for only those of you who, were entitled to a refund and you elected to receive your refund by direct deposit. Okay, so now say that you discovered that, that you did provide a banking information or direct deposit information for an account that was closed. What would more likely happen is that the IRS will send that stimulus payment to them if you haven't updated your information with them. And I'll talk about this a little bit later. But if you haven't updated your direct deposit information with them. So if they had already sent the payment and it went to an account that was closed, now the bank will go ahead and transfer this money back to the IRS. And then the IRS will kind of cut you a check after that. But another thing that I want you to keep in mind too, what I've heard that has been happening with a lot of this, the transferring of money and banking information. What has been happening for some people who accounts were in the negative. Okay, some people whose accounts were in the negative, and when the money went to their bank accounts, some of the banks were taking out some of the money to pay for these negative balances on your account. Now, if this has happened to you, I would suggest that you go ahead and call your bank and request that they go ahead and reverse that payment and give you all of your money, because really this money is supposed to help you during this time. It's not, one that you go ahead and pay off the debts. But, some of these banks, I understand that's what they're doing. So if you know that you have a negative balance on your account, some of these banks have been taking that money to pay off that negative balance. But like I said, go ahead and contact your bank and request that they go ahead and reverse those funds to you so you can receive your full stimulus payment money. So one thing the IRS has done, they launched this new tool called Get My Payment. And what you can do with this new tool, you can go on their website and you can use this to update your direct deposit information. Okay, so if you haven't received a stimulus check and you want to go ahead and provide an updated direct deposit information to them, let's say if you were using a bank, an account that was closed, you can go ahead on the IRS website and go to Get My Payment, and you can update your direct deposit information on there. And I will go ahead and provide a link to that website and to that page so you can go ahead and update your information. Now, this would only be useful to those of you who already have direct deposit information on file with the IRS, okay? So, and they haven't sent out the payments yet. So go ahead and make sure that, your stimulus payment wasn't already transferred to a bank account that has been closed. And then if not, you can go ahead and update your direct deposit information using this tool. Another way that you can also update your direct deposit information is if you haven't yet filed your 2019 tax returns, you can go ahead and just file your 2019 tax returns and elect, if you know that you were, now this is for those of you who that you're going to get a refund, okay? So if you are going to get a refund from your 2019 tax returns and you haven't filed those yet, go ahead and file those, and then you can go ahead and provide that direct deposit information to them. Okay, so, but you have to be mindful, if your 2018 tax returns included direct deposit information and you haven't filed your 2019 tax returns yet, the IRS will send your stimulus payment to whatever account that you used on your 2018 taxes. So if they haven't sent that, either go ahead and update your direct deposit information using the Get My Payment Now tool on their website, or go ahead and file your 2019 tax returns, okay? Now, here's something that's very interesting that I really didn't know before until I started doing research to provide you guys with an update on this stimulus check. Now, for those of you who use, like those tax preparing companies, I didn't realize that sometimes when you request like a loan advance or some other form to get your refunds, or if you're paying fees to these tax preparing companies, these tax preparing companies, sometimes they set up a temporary account. So when they file your taxes, instead of using your direct deposit information, they would use a temporary direct deposit information for them. So it's like a temporary account that they use to receive your money. So, if you haven't gotten your stimulus payment yet, and you know that, either on your 2018 or 2019 tax returns, you went to a tax preparer to prepare your taxes and file your taxes, I would check with them to see what the status is, because that's something that I didn't realize. And I know you guys saw the videos going around, right? Where they had like crowds and crowds of people, at these tax preparing places, carrying on, looking for their stimulus payment. And this is one of the reasons why that's happening, that they use temporary accounts when they file your taxes. Now, it may not be all of them, but this may be one of the reasons why it's happening. So you have to check with them to see what's going on with the stimulus payment. Because one of the reasons why they use these temporary accounts is that if you are due a refund and you owe them fees, they usually take out their fees from your refund, right? And they go ahead and they send you the remaining balance of your money. But then they have to set up a temporary account to be able to get your refund in, take out their fees, and then send you the remaining balance. So if they use like the temporary account, just know that the IRS wouldn't have your bank account information on file. They have the account that these tax preparers use, that's this temporary account. It would not be your direct account information, okay? So go ahead and check with your tax preparer, to see how it was that you received a fund, what's the status of your stimulus payment, and that's if you haven't gotten your stimulus payment yet. Another reason why you haven't received your stimulus payment yet is because maybe you filed a paper tax return. So now I want you to bear in mind, if you filed a paper return for your 2019 taxes, remember this epidemic started like from what? In January, and a lot of the IRS offices are closed, and a lot of the employees, they're working remotely. So you're filing your tax return is probably sitting somewhere at the office where nobody is, because all of the employees are working remotely. So please bear this in mind. So I'm sure that once, this whole thing kind of blows over and things die down, they will go ahead. But once they have started going back into the office and their offices have started reopening, they will start they will start processing paper tax returns. So if you didn't get a refund from your 2018 taxes and you filed a paper return in 2019, you may be waiting for a paper check for your with your stimulus payment. Okay, so another reason why you may not have received your stimulus payment yet is because your income may not have been one that qualified to file a tax returns. So that's those of you who are not required to file a tax returns because of the income made. So if you're single and you didn't earn more than $12,200 a year, you were not required to file a tax return. And if you're a married couple and you didn't earn more than $24,400, you were not required to file a tax return. So that's another reason why, again, like I said, that you may not have received your stimulus payment because you are not required to file a tax return. So the IRS doesn't have any direct deposit information on file for you. So what the IRS classify you as is a non-filer. So again, if you were not required to file a tax return because you didn't meet the income threshold, they consider you as a non-filer. So what the IRS is asking for non-filers is to go on their website and to provide basic information so you can receive your stimulus payment, okay? Now, I've put a link in my description below so you can easily go to this page and fill out your information. Now, when you get on this page, it will ask you for basic information like your name, your date of birth, your social security number, how many dependents that you have. You can also elect whether you want to receive your stimulus payment by direct deposit, and you go ahead and supply them with your direct deposit information, or you can elect to receive your stimulus payment by check. But they're asking all non-filers, to go on the website and fill out this information so they can go ahead and update their system and provide you with your stimulus check. So just to give you a little recap on this stimulus payment, and what are the requirements in order to receive a stimulus payment, remember, you have to be either a U.S. citizen or a U.S. resident with a social security number to receive a stimulus payment. If someone claims you as a dependent on their tax return, even if you are an adult, you will not receive a stimulus payment. If you are a single person earning $75,000 and under, you will get a stimulus payment of $1,200. If you are a married couple making $150,000 and under, you will receive a stimulus payment of $2,400. If you earn $99,000 and over as a single person, or $198,000 as a married couple, you will not receive a stimulus payment. You are not eligible. That income is too high to get stimulus payment. Now, the payment amount will decrease by $5 for every $100 that you earn, and that's if you are single and you make between $75,000 and $99,000, or if you are a married couple and your combined income is between $150,000 and $198,000. So, if your income, falls within that range, you are not getting the full $1,200 or the full $2,400, but your stimulus payment will decrease by $5 for every $100 that you make over that threshold amount. Now, for each child, 17 years and under, now this is each child that you claim on your taxes, okay? So for each child, if they're 17 years of age and under, you will receive $500 for each child. Now, here's an interesting one. If you had a child born this year in 2020, you will not receive the $500 stimulus payment for that child right now. But what would happen is that you will see that $500 being a tax credit when you file your 2020 tax returns, okay? So if you were pregnant and you had a child born this year, know that you will not receive that $500 stimulus payment for that child. That's for children being born this year, 2020. Another thing is that if your tax refunds, were currently being garnished because you defaulted on a loan or you owe the IRS, know that they would not garnish this stimulus payment. okay? And that's because the bill kind of suspends any collections efforts or any garnishments when it comes down to money that you owe on your student loan or to the IRS, any state or federal type thing. However, and this is a big however, the bill didn't provide any protection against creditors, and that's private creditors coming after you for money that you owe. So I want you to keep that in mind, because I've been seeing too and doing my research that some people are saying that some of these creditors are coming after them, are trying to get money from them for this stimulus payment. So the bill wasn't really clear on providing protections from private creditors, okay? So, but know that if your tax refunds were being garnished because you owe student loans or some type of money that you owe to the IRS, the stimulus payment will not be garnished because you owe this money. Now, if you owe child support, however, I don't see anything that protects you if you owe child support. So know that if you owe child support, they may take this stimulus money to pay for your back child support, but I'm not too sure about that. So if that happens, or if you're concerned about that, I would go ahead and contact the IRS and ask them, what will happen in that scenario, because the bill really doesn't protect those of you who actually owe child support. I want you to also know that you don't have to pay taxes on the money that you receive. Okay? So the stimulus payment is not taxable income. You do not have to pay taxes on this money. Okay? Okay, here's another thing that I want you to keep in mind. Okay, remember, I told you the IRS is using information from either your 2018 or 2019 taxes. Okay, now for those of you who didn't provide, who weren't due a refund, and they don't have a direct deposit information on file for you, they will be mailing you your paper check, okay? Now, they will be using the address that you have on file. If you have moved since you filed your taxes, either your 2018 or 2019 tax returns, you need to go ahead and update your address. Now, I know some of you are waiting for this money and you don't want this money to be misdirected in any way. So I would, recommend that you go on the website and update your address on their website, okay? And do this right away, right away. I know some of you have been receiving errors on the website, but go ahead and try your best to go on and update your mailing address so that your payment wouldn't be misdirected. Another thing that you can do too, if you have moved since filing the taxes, I would recommend also going to the post office and just, updating, providing a forwarding address. So any mail that's being forwarded to the old address will now come to your new address, but you have to go to the post office and update this information, okay? So, and do this right away, because you don't want your check to be just laying somewhere, and, with everything that's going on, I'm sure you want your money in hand, so just make sure that the IRS has your updated address on file. Because remember, how and when you receive your payment depends on what method you use when you filed your taxes. Which method did you use when you got your tax refund? Did you elect to have it by direct deposit, or was it mailed? Does the IRS have your updated mailing address on file? How did you receive your Social Security or your disability check? Is it being direct deposit? Is it being direct deposit to an account that's closed? Or is it being mailed? So how and when you receive, your stimulus payment will depend on how you received your funds and what information the IRS have on file for you. So if you have any questions, or if you want to check status of your stimulus payment, that tool that I mentioned before earlier, you can go on their website and you can go ahead and put in your information in the tool and see if you can get like a status update with that. And if you are getting error in using this tool, go to the IRS frequently asked questions and see if they, kind of address any errors that you may be receiving when you try to get like a status update on your stimulus payment. Okay, so if you go to the website to check status of your payment and you get an error or something that says status is not available, right? It could be that you haven't filed your 2018 or 2019 tax return, or it could be that your 2019 tax return is under review or has some errors, or it could be that you made above the income limits. So I want you to bear this in mind too when you go on their website and you're checking status of your payment. So if you see that error that comes up to say that that status is not available, that may be one of the reasons. Okay, so that's my update for today on the stimulus check. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments below, and I will try my best to answer any questions or any concerns that you may have. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and look out for more videos, because I will be rolling out these videos to provide you with information and updates on this stimulus package as a whole and as it relates to unemployment, business loans, this stimulus check that people are still waiting on, and that's just it's just so much going on with this stuff. So I will go ahead and roll out regular updates on this information so you can keep updated and be informed with this stimulus package as a whole. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on my next update. Take care.